Hi guys, good to see you again. As I have informed you earlier, from this video onwards, I am just going to discuss the big grammar items. As a preparation in my previous video, I helped you to understand the types of sentences in English. And I said that was an introduction to learn about direct and indirect or reported speech in English. And the reason I said was that when we are trying to change from direct to indirect or direct to reported speech, only one of these sentences that you are going to change. And these one of the sentences could be statement, interrogative, imperative or exclamatory. So as a continuation of the previous video, I am just trying to help you to understand in this video how to change the different types of sentences from direct to indirect or from direct to reported speech. So before we try to change from one speech to the other speech, we need to understand certain rules that are general. So unless we understand those rules, we will find it difficult when we begin to change from direct to indirect speech. So therefore, let me begin by sharing with you or by teaching what are the general rules that are involved in changing the sentences from direct to indirect. Okay? So, we proceed. Direct to indirect or reported speech. Alright, direct to indirect or direct to reported speech. So what are a few general rules that we need to understand before we try to change? General rules. Now, first thing that we need to understand in this general rule is that about the reporting verb. Okay, now what is this reporting verb? If I write a sentence on the board, now immediately you will understand that it is a statement or an interrogative or imperative or exclamatory. So let me write a small sentence and then we will try to identify what is the reporting verb is all about. Because unless you know how to change the reporting verb, and the following will not be able to help you to complete the process properly. Okay, now what is this reporting verb? Writing the reporting verb. Now, today let us discuss about the statement. So in that statement, I am just going to explain to you and how to identify a reporting verb in that statement there. So let me write a sentence straight away in direct speech. See, for example, the teacher said to the students. the teacher said to the students, comma, open inverted commas. I am going to teach you the grammar direct to indirect. Okay. So straight away we have come to the statement there. Now as I told you, how to identify whether a sentence is in direct speech or in reported speech. If you find any group of words written within the inverted commas, you can easily identify that it is in direct speech. And the words that are written within the or inside the inverted commas, we must understand those are the words spoken by the speaker himself or herself. So that you must be very clear. So naturally this sentence is an example of a direct speech sentence. Now we are talking about reporting verb. What is a reporting verb here? A reporting verb is nothing but the verb that you find before the direct part is introduced or the part that is introduced within the inverted commas. Now what is it here? See now, the teacher said to the students, comma. Now your direct speech or the words of the speaker begins with this inverted commas only. So therefore the reporting verb is nothing but the verb that is outside the inverted commas. Now what is your verb here? The said. See? This is your verb. This is what is known as reporting verb. Now why do you say that this is reporting verb? Because from this verb only we are going to change from direct to indirect. And this is the verb that reports what is going to be written later on. That's why it is known as the reporting verb. Now as far as the statement is concerned, this verb can be changed into different words according to the situations or according to the sentence or the concept that is written within the inverted commas. Now there are so many words. So this is the reporting verb. Now if it is a statement, remember that if it is a statement, this reporting verb could be written as, see, instead of said, you can write the words told, exclaimed, described, okay? So there are so many words you can think of. Now what would be the easiest word that you can think of to complete the procedure here of changing from direct to indirect here? Now who is telling what to whom? The teacher is saying to the students, and it is a kind of information. So even you can say informed. Okay? Informed. And you must note another important information here, another important note here. All the verbs are in what tense? Past tense. See? Why this is in past tense? Because the verb set in past tense. The reporting verb is past tense. So therefore, instead of the verb said, you can use all these words like told, explained, described, informed. So whatever the verb that is applicable to you, whatever the verb that is pleasing to you, you can choose. But you must be very clever enough to understand, clever enough to write the appropriate verb there. Certainly, you can write the verb described here, but does it suit to the sentence? So to start with, what can we do? Instead of said, we can write told. So this is the reporting verb as far as the statement is concerned. Now, what about interrogative? What about interrogative? Interrogative, of course, see. Okay, interrogative. I told you there are two types of interrogative sentences. One is the sentence that would begin with the WS question words. Another type would be beginning with the auxiliary verb. Now let me write these sentences here. See example. Example as I wrote for the statement here. Let me write it here. What is the sentence that we can think of? Now I can ask you straight away. The teacher said to the students, what are you watching? See? What are you watching? What are you watching? Okay? Now what is the sentence here? You have the group of words that are written within the inverted commas, and this is in direct speech, and this is an example of an interrogative sentence that begins with the WH question word. So your question word is what here? Now I have not come to any transformation, any changing here. I am just trying to help you to understand how the reporting verb can be written according to the sentences that is given within the inverted commas. Now for this, what is the reporting verb we have said? So instead of said, you can write here, the teacher said to the students, what are you watching? So instead of said, you can use the word asked or inquired, or wanted to know, or expected. So anything that you would think of which is an appropriate verb to fulfill the work here, from changing direct to indirect. Okay? Now asked, inquired, wanted to know, anything you can say. See, for as far as this sentence is concerned here, what is the best thing that you can, what is the best verb that you can think of? Instead of said, you can use asked. Asked. Okay, now this is one interrogative sentence. One interrogative sentence beginning with the WH question word. Now another type, yes or no type. Let me write a sentence here. Example. How can I write a sentence here? See, the teacher said to the students, what are you watching? Now the same sentence can be written as the teacher said to the students, comma, open inverted commas, are you learning? Are you learning direct and indirect speech? Are you learning direct and indirect speech? See, Are you learning direct and indirect speech? Now again, this is also an interrogative sentence. Alright? This is also an interrogative sentence beginning with an auxiliary verb are. In other words, this is known as yes or no type. Yes or no type. So if you have the sentence like this within the inverted commas beginning with the auxiliary verb, again what is your reporting verb here? Again said, this is your reporting verb. Now to write or to change from direct to indirect this kind of sentences, you can say the teacher, instead of saying teacher said to the students, you can simply say teacher asked. Similarly, you can say teacher asked, inquired, same verb you can use. Same verb you can use, wanted to know. So all these words can be used here. Now when it comes to changing, we need to follow certain rules and regulations that we will come to that later. That will be explained to you later. So for the time being, just remember, for statement, told, exclaimed, described, informed. For interrogative, you can use the word asked, inquired, wanted to know. So I am just giving you an example only. So if you know more words, you can easily include in that, depending upon the nature of the sentence or depending upon the nature of or the concept of the sentence that is given there. Okay, so these are the verbs that can be written for the reporting verb. So this is an interrogative. Now let me go into the third type. What is the third type that we were discussing? Imperative. Okay, imperative. Let me rub this through. Let me rub. Maybe I write here. I will write it here. So let this sentence be here. Okay. Even I can rub this one here. Okay. Now write it on the top. So this is the first one. This is the second one. And now I am writing the third one. What is that? Imperative sentence. Imperative. I told you imperative sentence would begin with the verb, not with the subject, certainly. Not with the subject. So imperative sentence will begin with the verb, and that sentence will be written within inverted commas if it is in the direct speech. Okay? So let me write a sentence here. I am just giving an example. The teacher said to the students, comma, open inverted commas. The teacher said to the students, stop shouting in the classroom. Stop shouting in the classroom. Close inverted commas, full stop. Alright? Now what is your sentence within the inverted commas? Stop shouting in the classroom. What is the reporting verb here? Again, the verb that is outside the inverted commas, said. Outside the inverted commas, that is said. So this is an example of an imperative sentence. And again I said there are two types of imperative sentence. One is commanding or ordering. Another one is requesting. Now this is an order of, could be commanding or could be a command or ordering the students from the teacher's point of view if they are shouting too much. Alright? So therefore, now how to write an appropriate reporting verb for this. Okay, instead of saying the teacher said to the students, you can write the word the teacher ordered the students. Okay, ordered. Ordered the students. Ordered or commanded. Or even you can say shouted. See, the teacher shouted at the students. When a person is irritated, that could be the appropriate word that can be used here, shouted. Okay, so these kind of words that could be used instead of the reporting verb said. Reporting verb said. So these must be understood in your mind very clear. Now next one here. This is an example of an imperative sentence, an order. Now what about another type of reporting verb in another imperative sentence here is a request here. See now, I just come to request. Now let me write a sentence here. To the same sentence I can write same sentence. This is a command, okay, order and so on. Now next one is a request. Okay, next one is a request. You can take the same sentence as an example. See, the teacher said to the students. You can also write the same sentence, stop shouting in the classroom. Now instead of saying straight away stop, how can you say, see the teacher said to the students, teacher said to the students, please stop shouting. Please stop shouting in the class room. Now this is also an example of an imperative sentence, but beginning with the word please. Request. Request. Now if the teacher is very much vexed or irritated by the noise produced by or made by the students there in the classroom, what he or she could say instead of the verb said. This is the reporting verb in the sentence. Instead of said, you can use the word, the teacher requested the students. So you can use the word requested. Requested, begged. Sometimes the teachers can go into the extent of begging. Begging means not to go and beg, but then trying to make the students understand. Please don't make noise inside the classroom. So that is the understanding. Okay? So begged. What else? What other verbs can you think of here? Can see requested, begged. Or even say, if your students are okay, you can say wished or desired. Wished, desired. And said to the students. She said to the students. He wished the students to stop making noise. So this is an example of a request in an imperative sentence. Imperative sentence. Now there is one more there. I don't know whether I can write it here anyway. See, we have written the statement, interrogative, imperative. Now we have one more, that is exclamatory. Now exclamatory sentence, I'll write it to you, I'll write and show to you on the whiteboard here, but before I do that, I would like to tell you that how a statement can be changed from direct to indirect, and we have only discussed one general rule here. We have discussed only one general rule, and that too only for 3 types of sentences. For statement, for interrogative, and for imperative. And for exclamatory, I think it is better that I write it here. Exclamatory, you can simply say, even I can speak to you directly, you will be able to understand. See, let me say the sentence. Again, the teacher said to the students, alas. Alas, after alas we have the exclamation mark. Alas, the thief was caught, or the thief is caught, or the teacher said to the students, "Oh, how beautiful the classroom is," or "how neat the classroom is," closed with the exclamation mark. Again, what is your reporting verb there? Said. So instead of said, you can say the teacher exclaimed with joy, or wondered, exclaimed, wondered, ascertained, joyed, said in joy, said in sorrow, overjoyed in saying. Lot of possibilities are there to express the emotions when you are transferring or changing an exclamatory sentence from direct to indirect. Okay, now these are the general rules when you want to write or find out what is a reporting verb before changing from direct to indirect. Now coming back to statement, sometimes instead of said, there could be simple present tense also. The teacher says. See, teacher says. So when you have the word simple present tense, the same tense must be maintained there. Now we are coming to that. We are coming to that. I'm just going to help you to understand that also. Now so far we have discussed only one rule, that is from changing to indirect, how to find out the reporting verb and what an appropriate reporting verb can be written to each and every one of the sentence that is given within the inverted commas before writing them as reported speech. Is that clear? Okay, now we are moving to the second general rule. So as I had written already, you must have seen, I wrote changing the reporting verb, that is the first general rule. Now we are moving into second general rule. So I need to rub all these things. So you may have to wait for 1 or 2 or 3 minutes. So let me rub it straight away. Okay. Okay. Good guys, I think you are all with me. Okay, are you with me? Yes, if you listen to the video or if you listen to my teaching or if you observe my teaching carefully without interrupting, without stopping, you will be able to understand the concept better. Okay, so in order to be very clear to you, let me write an example for exclamatory also. I said, so why to leave that one there? So a few may not be able to understand exclamatory sentence. So let me write the sentence there. The teacher said to the students, "Oh, how smart the students are." So I have changed the sentence. How smart the students are. I told you exclamatory sentence would mostly end in verb. So depending upon the tense, we have to change the direct to indirect. Now what is the verb here? Said here. This is the reporting verb. So for this verb only I said, you can say the teacher exclaimed to the students, or teacher said in joy to the students. Said in joy, or exclaimed, said in joy, wondered. You can say, when you say wondered, you may not have to add the word their student there. So the teacher wondered, exclaimed, or teacher said in joy to the students, how smart the classrooms are. So I will come to the changing. I just read what is written on the board as an direct speech sentence that is written within the inverted commas. Okay, now let me go into the second general rule. So I have to wrap up all these things. So I have to make here. Now second general rule is that change of tenses or changing the tenses. Okay, changing the tenses. Changing the tenses. So when you are changing from direct to indirect or from direct to reported speech, there are differences or there are changes to be made in the tense also. See, for example, if your sentence is in present tense, in direct speech, or you can say here, this is an indirect speech or reported speech. Indirect or reported speech. Reported speech. See, if your sentence is in present tense, that must be changed into past tense. That must be changed into past tense. Sometimes the present tense may remain as present tense if the reporting verb is written with the yes there. The teacher says, I am alright. Or the students say, I am alright, or we are alright. See? And the present same sentence, same tense can be maintained there. So, but general rule is present tense is changed into past tense. So, let me write an example here. See now, he said, comma, open inverted comma, I am busy now. See, he said, I am busy now. Now, just in order to explain how the present tense is changed into past tense. Now, you know already what is a reporting verb here. So, this is a reporting verb. You can add from, when you are changing from direct and indirect, instead of said, you can say, he told, or he explained, or he said, he told. That also should be there. That also should be there. But adding conjunction to various sentences, I will discuss with you later. But for the time being, just make you to understand how the tense is changed. You know, what is the tense here? And is your simple present tense. So actually, when it is changed into indirect speech or reported speech, this will become as past tense. Okay, that's the simple understanding here. So present tense becomes past tense. Present tense will become past tense. And the past tense, see, past tense will remain as past tense, and at times it can be changed into past to perfect tense. Okay, past to perfect tense. So that will depend upon the nature of the sentence. That I will talk to you when we discuss about the changing the direct speech, indirect speech in statement or in different tenses. Okay, so let me come back to that afterward. Okay, now after this you have the present continuous tense. Present continuous tense is changed into past continuous tense. Okay, present continuous tense is changed into past continuous tense, and then present perfect. Present perfect is changed into past perfect. Of course, more or less these are the same verb form. We will follow them. Past. And then you have, what are the other tenses? Present continuous is past continuous. Past continuous also, you can say Past continuous also can be changed into different sentences. That we will all discuss about those rules and regulations when we are discussing various sentences in statements in various tense forms. And since we are discussing about the general rule of changes there, tenses, I am just giving you. Now when it comes to future, remember that when it comes to future, immediately when I think about or when I share with you or when I tell you about the future, what is the future form of the verb there? You must add will or shall before the main verb. So that is the understanding of the future tense. Now this future tense, for example, will become would. See, and shall will become should. Can also can be considered as future. Can becomes could. So they are all perfect passive or future passive. You can say future passive. When you say I will come, in change you can say he would come. So will becomes would, can become good, can becomes good, or see, these are some of the changes you can think of future. Therefore, future tense can be shall also can become should. There are so many auxiliary verbs are there you can think of changing of future. So that's why all the tense can be used in future tenses when you are changing from direct to indirect. So these are some general changes that you must remember while you are changing from direct to indirect. Is that clear? See, present becomes past tense remains as past tense or past perfect, present continuous becomes past continuous, present perfect becomes past perfect, and then future, all the future auxiliary verb will be changed into a past tense. Now here would of course is the past tense of will. So we don't consider that as an auxiliary verb here. When you say will, would, it's the past tense of will becomes would there. And shall becomes should, can, could. Okay? So automatically they will become past tense there. So therefore future is written like that. It becomes a future kind of a passive form here when you try to change from direct to indirect. Okay, now this is the second general rule when it comes to changing from direct to indirect. Now let us move on to the third important rule here. What is another third important rule here? Mainly that we must be paying attention to. Mainly we must be paying attention to is nothing but the changing of pronouns. See? Changing of pronouns. Changing of pronouns. But when I say pronouns, there are three different kinds of pronouns that you must be able to remember. Now before I go into that, you must be very clear about the three persons and whether they are singular or plural. You have three persons. You see now, and there is what is known as the first person. Okay? In the first person, you have the, immediately write like the singular. In the first person, you have the singular and then you have the plural. Okay? In the first person, you have singular and plural. And in the second persons also, you have singular and plural. Okay? Singular and plural. And in third person also, you have singular and plural. Singular and the plural. Now why do I write like this? There is a reason for that. Now what is your first person singular? I. Okay? First person singular, I. First person plural, we. Second person singular, you. Second person plural, you. Third person singular, And there are three. He, she, it. All these are known as third person singulars. And third person plural, they. Okay? They. So these are the 8 pronouns as known as first person, second person, third person. Now we are going to write this in different forms as they call it. So these are known as you can call these as subjective pronouns. Alright? Subjective or subject pronouns. Why do we call all these as subject pronouns? Because they are all used to write as subjects instead of nouns to begin a sentence. That's why they are called pronouns. So they are used instead of a noun in a sentence as a subject, doer of the action, agent of the action. So they are called as subjective. Another one we have what is known as the possessive. See, possessive. Possessive. Third one we have is the objective. Objective. Third one we have the objective. See? Now you have to know the appropriate forms of the pronouns for various cases. Subjective case, possessive case and objective case. So here you have I becomes my. See? And then object for I becomes me. I, my, me. And here of course we. Our. See, ours. Ours. This is our book. This is our class. This is my book. I gave him the book. Or you gave me this book. See, objective. Used as object in sentences. Now, how do you know that it is an object? You remember when we discussed about sentence pattern, indirect object, direct object. So that you must be able to remember or recollect. Okay, now you have the second person. One you use as singular. See, possessive. You, your. See, and here also objective, you remains as you. Similarly, you have plural, your. So when you refer to a particular single person, you can say that is your. When it refers to many people or many persons, it refers to plural. So therefore, here also similarly you can say you. Your and then you there. Now comes to singular for he, she, it. For he, of course, you have his. Alright? She, of course, hers. And it remains as it. And here, of course, you have the it remains as it's there. So subjective, maybe you can say she, her. What about this one here? Objective. Objective, of course, for a third person singular, you can say him or her. Here, it. Okay? So here, of course, you have it's here. For possessive, you can add hers also. Hers. It's mine. It's hers. It's his. Possessive. And objective, him, her, it. Lastly, you have for the plural here. Third person plural. So third person plural, of course you see, you can say possessive. It is their. For objective you have them. It belongs to them. And so these are various pronouns and various cases. We call it subjective, possessive and objective. So these pronouns have a role to play when we change from direct to indirect. Direct to indirect. So from here onwards only, we are going to change from one sentence to the other, starting from the statement from direct to indirect, and then we'll come back to other sentences one after the other. Are you tired now? Shall I discuss in this video or in next video? I hope you're all tired, because listening to this kind of grammar for a long time may disturb your interest on other works also. So let me stop for the time being. So let me conclude this video with this information. So we have discussed only the general rules of changing from direct to indirect to all the types of sentences. So as a conclusion, what I would like to tell you is that these general rules must be followed strictly when you are changing from direct to indirect. So when we come to one sentence after the other with examples, you will be able to understand better. So in the next video, we will discuss all the 4 types of sentences, and we will learn a lot of examples how to change from direct to indirect in all the types of sentences. Okay, so let me conclude this video for the time being. As I have been informing you, please subscribe this channel and inform your friends and neighbors to watch this carefully, to watch till the end of the video, so that you may not lose the connection. Subscribe this, like it, and then continue to support me to help you in a better way. Alright, thank you guys. See you in the next video. Until then, bye.